Hey there, I'm Tom. Let's get right to it. Perfect, accurate colors for just 20 bucks using the YBow Pocket Card. It's a great card for accurate white balance. It's spectrally neutral, waterproof, and so easy to use and a huge time saver. You can use this with any program. I'm using ON1 Photo Raw today. There's a 20% savings by using Tom Cheswick 20 at checkout. And I also have a link below where you can get a free 30-day trial. But you can use the YBow Pocket Card with other programs like Capture One, Lightroom, Adobe Bride, Luminar Neo, any program that lets you use an eyedropper to set the color temperature. So let's take a look at how to use this. There are a couple things that you want to do when you're on the actual shoot. First, if you're shooting raw, you can set your color balance to any setting. On the Canon RP or R5 that I'm using for this shoot, I set the white balance to auto, but that's because I'm shooting raw. Don't make the mistake of shooting auto when you're shooting JPEGs, or this method will not work. If you're shooting JPEG, you have to set a white balance that's pretty close to the situation. So I would choose cloudy, shade, or sun if you're outside, something close. So if we take a quick look, I'm shooting the EOS R5. I did shoot compressed raw for this shoot, and I've already color corrected all of these images using the YBow card. I like to use this for the first shot at the start of this session. You can do it midway through or at the end if the light's not changing. I like to do it in the beginning because then it's easier to select all the images, and you'll see that. Let's just see how easy it is to use the YBow card for perfect, accurate colors. First, select the proper camera profile. I'm going to use the EOS R5 portrait profile. Then I'm going to scroll down till we get to the color pane, select the eyedropper, click on the gray part of the card, and if we look in the upper right corner, you see right now the white balance is pretty close, but those three numbers for red, green, and blue should match up. So we'll click on the card, and now we'll see we're a lot closer. So we're 152, 151, 153. It changes slightly when you move around the card. That's perfectly fine. Also, they don't mention this in the instructions, but a pro tip. This isn't an 18% gray card, so you're not going to get RGB values of 128, 128, 128. They should actually be in the 180s. We can also use this card to set our exposure. So we'll take a look. We are in the 150s. We'll bring up our exposure a little bit. And there we are, just hitting 180. We might go a little higher. And for here, I'm adding half a stop of exposure and getting the values in the mid 180 range. And that's just a rough guide. We have accurate color. We can always fine tune that to our liking. And we have a pretty decent exposure. We can also fine tune that. So once we have those two steps, color, temperature, and the exposure, I'm going to simply select all the images from her session. And then we'll just sync those settings however you'd like to do it with the program you're using. In ON1, you can go up to settings and select sync settings. On a Mac, that is Command Option S will bring up that same panel. So I'm going to do that, Command Option S. That would be Control Alt S on a PC. And then we're going to select Apply the Develop. And now all those images have accurate color applied to it, and the exposure should be real close. And let's take a look. That's looking pretty good. So that's just how easy it is to use the YBow Pocket Card, a gray card, for accurate color. So a quick review. If you're shooting JPEGs, be sure to set a white balance that is close to the situation, like cloudy, shade, or sun if you're outside. Click on the gray card when you're in your editing program to set the proper temperature. If you'd like, you can set the exposure and try to get it in the mid 180s for your RGB values, and then highlight all the images shot in that similar light and sync those settings. And just be sure to use the YBow card every time the light changes so you have correct, accurate colors under the new lighting conditions. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you got some good information out of this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. Thanks again. And until next time, keep shooting.